Hey there, YouTube. Sorry, I thought that I had better lighting a few minutes ago. If such a thing could exist right now. But I just turned onto a side street where I guess there's less light. It's only 5 o'clock right now where I am, barely after 5. 5:04, about to be 5:05. It's been a while since I've done a live stream while driving. You know, like since I've done any kind of driving video. I used to really like to do them. But oh, a snowman. That's the first snowman I've seen this year for a long time, for years. Yeah, this is definitely the first live stream that I've done while driving in the wintertime. It's been a while since I've done one at all, but I know that I've never done one in this kind of weather before. The roads don't seem to be very good right now. We did get a little bit of snow last night, and it is 16 degrees apparently, is what my car says. I guess it's supposed to be single-digit temperatures tonight, and it looks like the next couple of nights possibly. So I'm actually thinking about probably trying to work tonight. Oh, Happy New Year's, by the way. This is the first day of the new year, January 1st of 2026. I can't believe it. So the club that I work at is open tonight. They don't have a day shift today. They're just doing the night shift, I guess, apparently, for today. I did work last night for New Year's Eve, and that was really something for me. I was not ready for it. I was not prepared for it. I was kind of thinking and kind of hoping that there would be some people there, what with the holiday, you know, New Year's Eve and all of that. But I did not think it would be as busy as it was. And it was actually pretty busy even from early on in the night. Pretty much the entire time that I was there. And I got there, well, I technically got there at 4 in the afternoon, but I didn't really go in until 5 because I did pretty much an hour-long video on here before I went in there. So I pretty much went in around 5, but normally when I do that, it takes a long time for there to really be customers that come in. Whereas yesterday, pretty much right off the bat, it was pretty busy. And for most of the night, it was extremely busy. And I hadn't worked for over a week there up until that point. So I just wasn't ready for it. But, you know, I still had a good time, I guess, pretty like overall. It was definitely better than, you know, what I would have probably spent the New Year's Eve doing otherwise, which would have been just, you know, nothing really, sleeping or, I don't know, watching other stuff on YouTube and eating popcorn, just trying to warm myself up as best as I can back at my apartment, which hasn't really been going well lately. It's just been so cold and windy. So yeah, last night there was just tons and tons of people. There were tons of dancers, tons of customers, and for a lot of it I was kind of just, you know, basically hiding in the back, like just doing my own thing, waiting for my turn on stage. So it was an interesting night. I did, you know, try to socialize a bit. Like I talked to a lot of the dancers that were there, just like casually, like just, you know, being social, cracking jokes and laughing about random stuff. So it felt good to get out and actually be around other humans again, not just holed up in my apartment, hunkered down under the covers, like, you know, all sad and lonely and depressed. Should probably shut this light off now. Sorry, there's like more traffic here. Oh gosh. So, oh my God. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, it's, with it being so dark out for this video, I kind of feel like I wish this one would have been the one for New Year's Eve that I did yesterday. Because the video that I did yesterday for New Year's, because New Year's Eve just kind of has like a nighttime vibe to me, like, you know, with the word Eve in there. But this is New Year's Day. Yesterday was New Year's Eve, but yesterday when I did my New Year's Eve video, I started it when we had daylight. So the thumbnail for that and most of the first part of that video is, you know, like with some sunlight and some daylight. So that had more of like a New Year's Day kind of vibe to me, whereas this has more of a New Year's Eve kind of vibe. But oh well, just kind of have to do it a little bit vice versa. Oh, the club was actually open until 4 a.m. last night. So normally we're open, the nights that I typically work, we're usually open until 2 a.m. So me even working until 2 a.m. is like, you know, that's a late night for me, would be 2 a.m. And going into work yesterday, I didn't even realize, I had no idea that we were open till 4 a.m. But I'm the kind of person that like once I'm there, I figure, well, you know, we pay to work there as dancers, so once I'm there, I figure I might as well try to get my money's worth and stay as long as we're open. Try to make at least some of that back if I can, which even that is a struggle for me, unfortunately, because I guess, I don't know, I just suck, apparently, but not in the right way. Just kidding. Not in the good way, I don't know. So yeah, I'm just not the best. I'm not very good at being a stripper, apparently, but anyone that's watched my videos or anything on my channel here before probably already knows that. I'm gonna try to put this light back on. So I did end up staying and working until 4 a.m. yesterday, which was basically a 12-hour shift. I mean, yeah, I didn't technically go in until 5 p.m., but I signed in at 4, so I was there for 12 hours. And yeah, that was really something. I guess we have a new DJ. Oh my gosh, it was so weird because, well, for a while there had been 2 DJs working there. One is a female, and that's the one that I usually work with on the slower nights. And then, because I don't really do Friday or Saturday nights, but with the other guy DJ that used to work there, I typically try to avoid the super busy nights and the super big crowds just because I have anxiety and ADHD and I get overwhelmed by stuff like that very easily. Like, it's all just very like chaotic and distracting and overwhelming for me and like my sensory issues, I guess. But last night pretty much felt exactly like what I remember Friday and Saturday nights feeling like. It was that busy and there were that many people there. So yeah, I really wasn't prepared for that. And then normally on a Wednesday night, I mean, I do work Wednesday nights pretty often, but not nights like that. That felt like a Friday or Saturday. So, but normally on Wednesday nights, there would be the female DJ that I typically would work with. But I guess because, you know, it was New Year's Eve, sometimes for like bigger holidays like that, they'll have the guy DJ. But I guess the guy DJ that would have worked and that was working there for like years and years, up until just recently, I guess he got fired. And going in, I hadn't worked for over a week, so I hadn't heard anything about that. So that was, you know, that was news to me. And apparently what happened is, I hate to laugh at this. I was honestly at first really shocked to hear this. But what people told me, and this was multiple people that I heard this from, it wasn't just like 1 or 2, but I guess he like choke slammed a dancer on stage, which I was pretty shocked to hear. That kind of thing, thankfully, does not typically happen there from what I've seen at that club. Usually what I see there at that club is everyone, for the most part, is pretty chill and pretty, like, usually in a pretty good mood, seems to get along pretty well. Obviously, there's going to be exceptions to that, you know, now and then, here and there, just like anything, but for the most part, hearing that something like that happened there was very, very surprising to me. I would not typically expect that kind of thing in that place. I'm in the wrong lane. So, yeah. But thinking back now, at first I was very surprised to hear that because, again, that kind of thing typically doesn't happen there, thankfully. However, it took me a while to remember this, but eventually it kind of came back to me that DJ years ago actually I did see him get in, not a full fight, but kind of a little bit of swinging fists with another DJ that used to work there. So I think that was probably back, I think that was actually also a New Year's shift, but that was back years ago, probably 2022 going into 2023 is I think when that happened. So yeah, one of the previous DJs from that hasn't been there for a while, I guess when this other DJ that got into this altercation recently and got fired, I guess when he first started working there years ago, him and the other DJ that was there at the time didn't hit off very well at first, apparently, and I had a crush on that other DJ that had been working there before years ago, because I had worked with him for a while. So I was there when that happened, when they got into their little altercation, and I was really freaked out about it because, you know, like, I kind of had feelings for that DJ that had been there for a bit, and I was kind of just like shocked to see that. It wasn't that big of a deal, but, you know, they did kind of swing fists and, you know, get into it a little bit, or start to. It didn't really escalate too bad, thankfully, but I had completely forgotten about that until later on last night. After I was thinking about it a little more, I was like, it kind of started to make a little more sense to me, what I heard about, you know, this DJ getting into that altercation just recently, because yeah, he was always pretty good with me and pretty nice to me, and he seemed to be with most of the other people there as well. But yeah, thinking back now, I'm like, oh yeah, I do actually remember him getting into it a little bit with that other DJ that used to work there. So, but still, I mean, it's just so weird to me to picture somebody doing that, like, at work, somewhere they've worked for a long time, and like in front of a crowd of people and like witnesses, basically. So, because yeah, he had been there for years and always seemed pretty chill and pretty professional, other than that one instance, you know, that little altercation, I guess, when he first started. But that blew over when that had happened the years prior, I think, pretty much, it seemed. So anyways, I guess long story short for that, we have a new DJ now, and last night was their first night, I'm pretty sure, working there at the club. And, you know, kudos to them for their first night, you know, being on New Year's Eve, which was extremely busy. Wow, oh my gosh, it's all of a sudden so bright. Wow, I didn't realize. So I'm at Walmart now. They better be open. Not many places are open today, but I looked online, it said they are, and there's a lot of cars here in the parking lot. So I didn't think it was going to be this bright in this parking lot, though. Okay, wow. So yeah, the new DJ last night, he was actually pretty good, from what I saw of him last night. There were so many dancers and so many people that I didn't really interact with him very much, but I don't know. I mean, he sounded good on the microphone, like on the speakers. The music was good. And yeah, the night seemed to go pretty well. Most of the dancers seemed to do pretty well on stage and get tipped well, and so it was a pretty good night, I would say. But so I didn't get to sleep until 8 a.m. this morning, but normally when I work until 2 a.m., I usually am able to get to bed by like 6 a.m. But yeah, because we were open later until 4 last night, I didn't get to bed until 8 a.m. earlier today. But that kind of worked out okay because the night or the day prior, I had, stayed up, not on purpose, not intentionally, but I just wasn't able to get to sleep until 8 a.m. that day as well. And I didn't even work the night before that. I had been on my period and just taking days off. So I don't know, my body just does not like to sleep at night. I really, really try to do it. I just can't, which really sucks. I mean, I wish I could figure out how to fix that or at least get it to be better a little bit. But honestly, it's been getting worse because yeah, I used to be able to get to bed at 6 and like even when I hadn't worked the other day, I wasn't able to do it until 8. But I don't know, the winter really messes me up and being on my period really messes me up. It just really, really, really messes me up pretty bad. And just seems to get worse, unfortunately. Like, it's not getting better. But anyway, okay, so, but then it's weird because that DJ that I guess got fired recently, the altercation that he had gotten into with a previous DJ years ago, back in 2022, 2023, I'm pretty sure it was, that other DJ that I used to have a crush on that he got in a fight with, he was one of 2 DJs that used to work there years and years and years ago that both used to kind of give me a hard time with stuff. It's a long story there that I don't want to get into right now, but the other DJ, sorry, this is all going to sound kind of confusing probably because I'm not going by names. I don't want to say their names because I feel bad. But there was this other DJ that used to work there out of the 2 that used to give me a hard time. And this other one was there last night for almost the entire night. And I guess he's like a fisherman now. He looks a lot different. His hair is all grown out and he looks more like a fisherman now. He has like that kind of like just look to him now, but he's still hot. I mean, he's always been like pretty hot, but we didn't really talk. We don't really have that kind of like, like if we see each other, like I've seen him there in the past and we're like friendly enough, like if we notice each other, we'll kind of like maybe smile and say hi a little bit, but we don't really like talk because we do have a really weird history at the club where it was a really bad situation, particularly for me. I used to tip that guy a lot of money, like to the point where I was like having to get receipts, not having to, but I was like making a point to get him to sign receipts that I was giving him with the tips that I was giving him, because it was just like a lot. It was like more than I was making for myself at a lot of times. So it was a really, really weird it was a few years that was going on, maybe like, I don't know, it was a while though. And that same kind of thing was happening with one of the other DJs too. I wish I could say their names so it wasn't so confusing, because you guys are like, wait, which one? Probably. But so yeah, maybe I should just say like DJ number 1, number 2, number 3, but even that could get confusing. So anyways, so the fisherman DJ was there last night, almost all night, and I don't know, I get really anxious when he's there. Same with the other one that I used to work with a lot and tip a lot, just because I used to tip them so much, and so I feel like when they see me, they see like a mark still, like they're probably just like wanting me to fall off the pole and like die so that they can like take everything I'm like that I have like that I'm worth for. They're like just like in the crowd, just like waiting like a vulture, like a wolf, just like waiting for me to fall off the pole and die. So I'm like really, really I'm anxious anyways, like going on the pole and like doing pole tricks, and especially when I haven't worked for a week and I've been on my period and there's all these other dancers there wearing lotion and making the pole that much more slippery, and I don't really have everything's going so fast that kind of night, like how it was last night when it's that busy, that I don't really have time to like try to clean off the pole with the rubbing alcohol like I normally would. So I was so anxious last night because he was there almost the entire night, or the entire time that I was there. And I did still go on the pole and go upside down and do some pole tricks, but not to the extent that I would normally try to do with that kind of crowd, because the circumstances just didn't feel, you know, like very good for me with that kind of thing. And I was just really anxious with him being there. Like, I don't know. But then actually he ended up almost getting into a little bit of a fight towards the end of the night. So, that was after midnight. So that was like, that was technically on New Year's Day. And so he pretty much started off the new year almost getting in a fist fight, apparently, it seemed, which honestly kind of aligns a lot with his personality. Like, he always came across as a little bit of a bad boy to me, which, you know, that's kind of hot, I guess. I don't know. But when that happened, I wasn't on the main stage, like the big stage. I was off to the side on a smaller stage. And so we have 3 stages, and it was so busy that we were doing all 3 last night for most of the night, pretty much. So after I did the big stage, it got really confusing at certain points, because we had 2 of the smaller stages were both open, but usually you're supposed to go to one of them first and then the other, but the one that we would go to third was busier, so it's like they were wanting us to go there for the second round instead of the third, and then go to the other one. I don't know, it was all just getting kind of confusing. So anyways, when I went over to the smaller stage where he was sitting right in that area, and with a couple other people. And I don't know, I was over there for a while at that point, because that was towards the end of the night, and whatever dancer was supposed to be coming on after me, like, didn't show up. So I was doing extra songs over there, and I was kind of just using that, or trying to use that as a time to like scan the crowd and like try to decide if there was anyone in the crowd that I felt okay trying to go approach and talk to, because there were just so many people there. It's hard for me to try to like look and decide. I get very distracted and just like, who do I talk to? But so my back was kind of turned, and then thankfully, because right before this happened, my back was to them, so, and I was like feet away from them, so if they had actually really started swinging, I probably could have maybe accidentally gotten like in the crossfires of that a little bit, or like, because they were right near me. But I somehow worked out that timing pretty well for myself without realizing it, because my back was turned to them right before it started, and then I was kind of like down low, just like shaking my backside or whatever. And then I stood up and I kind of turned a little bit to the left, and right when I did that, I saw one of the bouncers like running over across the room towards them. And so I looked, obviously, and I was like, okay, why is he like running so fast? And that other DJ guy, and I guess some of the guys he was sitting with, were starting to like maybe get into it a little bit. Thankfully it didn't look that bad though. It was like just a few seconds, and they kind of like de-escalated it pretty quick. But then, you know, after they broke that up, that DJ was like basically escorted out the building by the bouncers. So, but I really like moved out of that area like just in time, because if the bouncers hadn't been on that as quickly as they were, you know, there's a chance that probably could have escalated a little more and just been right in that area that I was. So I don't know, it seemed to work out okay, but I was just shaking my head after, because I was like, you know, he starts the new year off like almost practically getting into it with somebody like that, and they were there all night. So I don't know, I hope he's okay. But I guess this is kind of bad, but I was talking to a dancer about seeing him there earlier on before that happened, and I was just saying how it was kind of weird that he had been married to a dancer that works there for a while, and I still see her at the club every now and then, but I didn't see her last night. So I thought that was kind of weird that he would be there when she wasn't there. Like, she wasn't there and he was on New Year's Eve. So I mentioned it to my dancer friend Taz, actually, and she was like, oh, they got divorced. I was like, oh, really? So he's single. That's bad. I really don't want, I hate the way my brain works sometimes, but no, like, I could not have that kind of mentality, because with the history that we had working there and just like his personality and my personality, that would be so toxic. And it already was all those years ago, and I need to learn my lessons in life and like not be the way that I am. I was like, oh, really? Interesting. You don't say. But no. That was kind of funny to hear, though, because they had been together for a while, I'm pretty sure, and for like years and years. But anyways, that was also like interesting news to me. Oh, and Taz also told me, she actually sent me a text message that mentioned this earlier on yesterday afternoon, before I started the video that I did here on YouTube yesterday. So when I did my video yesterday afternoon, I was in a pretty bad mood because I had just been on my period and I hadn't worked for a week, and I was really upset with myself for that. And I was just really like, you know, struggling after the holiday stuff, like Christmas and my mom's birthday. I was talking to my family and just missing them and thinking a lot about family stuff, which really tends to bum me out and stress me out. So I was in a pretty bad mood yesterday, and I hadn't seen Taz's text message, although she had already sent it at that point. My phone battery is pretty bad and my storage is not good on my phone, so I don't have alerts for when I get text messages. If I get a new text message, I don't typically see it or get notified about it. So I just won't see it unless I manually go into my inbox and actually check and see if I have text messages. So I hadn't seen her text message for a while yesterday, until after I had done my video and like already been complaining on here about stuff for a while. But then later on, when I was at the club, I went into my text message inbox and saw that she had sent me a text, and it said something about somebody on her Instagram that I guess got her Instagram from my channel that had been watching my videos. They had sent her, I think, money on Instagram to get me flowers for Christmas, or like shortly before Christmas, and like with a note and stuff. That was really nice. And I guess they sent her like a gift card for me for Christmas. So she sent me this text that had like a picture of it with like the gift card code and stuff. And I was like, that was just like shocking to me, because that kind of thing never happens like to me. And like, I don't have PayPal, I don't have Venmo, I don't even have Instagram. So I don't really like do stuff like that. I don't really know how that stuff works. I don't even go on Facebook anymore. As far as like social media and stuff online, I really just do my YouTube these days, and like, you know, I'll look stuff up on Google, I guess, but I don't know if that counts. I don't do a lot on the internet these days, and I never really have, like, with social media that much. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I couldn't believe it. So whoever that was, thank you. I guess they just go by K on her Instagram. It's very confusing to me, but I was like, okay, whatever, I'll take it. That's so exciting. So I haven't tried it yet because this was just yesterday, and you know, I worked until 4 a.m. last night, and I'm gonna be trying to go into work again tonight. I don't usually work Thursdays, but we're open, and I guess it's they're waiving the house fee that we would normally have to pay to work, because I guess they're probably not expecting it to be very busy today after the, you know, crazy busy holiday last night. So I was like, whatever. I haven't worked very much recently and lately, so up until last night anyways. So yeah, I haven't had a chance to really like try the code on that gift card, but I already know what I want to get. I definitely want to get like some new shoes finally, and I don't know, it's thank you so much to whoever that's from. It's kind of weird though, because the amount that it's for, it's almost the exact same amount that I got a check in the mail for, from the website that I'm on. So I'm on I don't really go on there. I haven't been on there for quite a while, and it's not something that I really do very regularly, or I really don't like to stream on there, to be honest. That's why I don't go on there very much. I like to watch other models on that website, and technically I'm like a member and I'm a model and I'm signed up on that website myself. So yeah, I've streamed on there before, but it's just not like my YouTube for me. Like I love doing YouTube so much, and on my YouTube I can just talk and talk and talk and just like not want to stop. Whereas on this streaming website, it's more of like an adult kind of theme. So I just don't really feel comfortable with that. Like I just don't really know. I don't feel comfortable talking about stuff or like being myself or trying to be more like sexy or risque or whatever it would be to, I don't know, I just feel awkward and weird being on there. I just don't like it. And also when I've been on that website before and streamed on there before, it's from my apartment. Like you're not really supposed to be in public when you're streaming on there. They have rules where you're not supposed to really have anyone else on camera with you or in the background, unless it's like another model that's signed up on their site. So I don't know, I just don't really feel comfortable at my apartment. I can like hear my neighbors through the walls, and to try to block some of that out, a lot of times I'll play music in the background really loud, but that music in the background like bothers me and like doesn't sound good on camera. I don't know, I'm just not really comfortable there. Like I eat there, I sleep there, I surf the web there from my laptop. So that's fun. I like doing that, but I just don't really like, I've never done a YouTube video from there, although I might try in the future just to try to commemorate what my apartment looks like on camera, just like kind of like a picture that I would have on video. I don't know. My family moved around so much when I was younger, like a lot of different states, different places, different houses. And yeah, obviously I have pictures. I actually have my photo album right here from like my childhood. But you know, even though we have some pictures from some of those various different houses and locations, I really wish, looking back, that we had thought to actually take like pictures of each room in each house before we moved from there. Like before we completely moved and went to a different location, I wish that we had actually like stood in the doorway of each room in the house and taken an actual picture of how that room used to look for us. You know, because not all of them, but some of those houses I've been able to find online like recently. And, you know, like as the years go by and new people, you know, move in and move out and take ownership and change things, they change things, they reconstruct things. I mean, sometimes those houses get, I don't know, things happen. Sometimes they're just torn down or whatever. Some of them I can't find online, so I don't really know what the story is there or what might have happened there. But I really it drives me nuts because like my grandmother's house, for instance, like her house was one of the ones, she's not there anymore. She hasn't been there for years. She's in like a different spot now. She's like in a condo that's more like designed for older people. But when I was pretty young, I think they moved out of there. I wish I knew the year off the top of my head, but I don't know. Her and her husband lived in that house probably until I was around 13 or 14, I'm pretty sure. So just when I was very young, they were there. But even throughout the time that my family was moving, like different states and different houses, her house where she used to be, that was kind of like more of like the consistent place that we would like go visit, and that house stayed the same for a while for some of those years in the beginning, until they moved out of there, obviously. But I found that house on the internet recently, just the other day, and it's completely different. Like, whoever's been in there and remodeling and lives there now or whatever it is, it's so different. Like, the aesthetic, the colors, the construction, it's still a nice house, but it's nothing like how I remember it, and it's nothing like how it was. And it really makes me sad, because there's some rooms there I recognize in the pictures now, but a lot of them I really hardly even recognize the rooms. I'm like, which room was that? Like, it just looks so different. So I really wish that we had pictures of like how each room actually used to look. So with that in mind, I might want to try to do some streams from my apartment on my YouTube in the future, just to try to remember what my apartment looks like in the future. I don't like to think about that. I don't know where I'm gonna go from there, because I couldn't afford anything else, and I don't really have family with places. I don't want to think about that or talk about that right now. But anyway, what's my point? Okay, so the amount that this gift card is for, that this person sent Taz to give to me, apparently, it's $5 of a difference, so it's very, very close to the amount that I was sent from this website that I was on. And this website that I'm on, like the adult streaming site, again, I hardly ever go on there. So when they sent me a check, it was right around the time of my birthday a few months ago, back in October. And I hadn't even been on there. So when they sent me that check, it was very random and out of the blue. And it wasn't like the amount on that check was something I had earned, or I hadn't gotten that amount in tips on their site from streaming. I hadn't streamed on there for months. And even back when I had streamed on there months prior, what I had gotten in tips from the other people on there that had watched my streams, they had tipped me hardly anything, because I'm hardly ever on there. So, when I do go on, I hardly get tipped at all. So the check that they sent me for my birthday was completely out of the blue. Like, not anything that I would have gotten from tips on their site. And it was actually for more than what I had earned when I had streamed on there before. Much more. Not like crazy amount, but significantly more than I had earned on their site from getting tipped on there in the past, months and months prior to that. It was just very random, very out of the blue, very strange. And I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong, but it is very like just strange and confusing to me. So, but I was like, excuse me, whatever, I still cashed it. I was like, okay. I cashed it and it went through. So that was fun. But bizarre, just kind of like weird. And then yeah, this gift card that this person sent to Taz, it's a $5 difference. It's very, very close to almost the exact amount that check was for. So very interesting. I really don't know what to make of a lot of things. But thank you regardless, I guess, whoever did that. So it's okay. So I still want to get into Walmart and get a few things. I've been reading the Bible lately. Not really, but kind of. The Bible is interesting. I don't know. My mom had sent me a Bible, not this year, but last year. She sent me a Bible for my birthday. And, back when I got it, I was like, okay, yay. It's still nice that she did that. But I hadn't ever really tried to read it until recently. Recently, I've been in such a bad place with things, just like emotionally, and with winter and my periods and family stuff, and just being upset with myself and like a midlife crisis. Lately, it was like so bad the past week or so that I was just like, all right, F it, whatever. Where's my Bible? so, so I crack it open, and I wonder if I did this on purpose, but I pretty much opened it right to the middle. And in the middle where I opened it, it was the book of Job, apparently. But I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's actually spelled J-O-B, like job. And I thought that was kind of funny that that would be smack dab in the middle of the Bible is Job or Job. Because I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, pretty much the main reason that I'm, you know, up in this Bible in the first place, trying to seek out some whatever it is I'm doing here, is because of how much my J-O-B stresses me the F out, you know? Why are so many people usually as upset as they are? Because of their J-O-B. You open up the Bible right to the middle, and what does it say? J-O-B. Here, read this book of Job. Anyway, I started to do that a little bit, and I honestly don't like how in the Bible it's so genderfied, or what's the word? The pronouns they use. The Heavenly Father has always got to be a dude and a dad and a father, and I think that's sexist. I think that's, why do they have to pronoun that stuff? Why do they have to genderfy it? Is genderfy a word? Anyway. Okay, before I wrap this up, so when I got into the club last night, I mentioned in my video yesterday, my dancer friend Paris has been talking about starting a cooking channel. She was actually saying, I can probably shut this off now. I should shut that off so I don't forget. Okay. So I wanted to put lip gloss on to try to match this. She said that she was going to be posting her first video today. So I'm going to have to see about that. I don't know. I feel bad. She was in a bad mood when she left the club yesterday. And apparently somehow that was my fault because I'm a dumbass. And back to the stage thing, it was so busy and I'm not used to working busy nights like that. So she was on stage before me. So after I was on the big stage, there's two other stages. She was on the smaller one and there was no one really over there, I guess, or I wasn't really sure if that one was in rotation at that point because there was no customers over there. But there was on the third stage, the bigger, like the one off to the side that's not the main stage, but also slightly bigger. That area is more popular, where that's actually like a VIP light where people will like get bottle service. And so there were a lot of people over there. So normally if there were people on the satellite stage, this is the smaller one that she was on, if there were people over there, I would have gone over there and then gone to the third one. But because there were no people on the second one where she was, I just went straight to the third one where there were customers and people had rented that space out. So I went from the big stage to the third stage where the other customers were with the bottle service. And I think I went to the third one where she was after. And that's actually how they were doing it. I'm pretty sure that's what the bouncers told me to do, like later throughout the night as well. Because there were customers on the, because people had specifically rented out the area to the side. But I guess Paris came up to me earlier in the night, and I guess because I had gone to the third stage, she missed out on going to that one. But when that kind of thing happens, what most dancers would do is they would just come over and say something. So I told her that. I was like, I'm sorry, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I never do nights like this that are busy like this. So, like, if I'm not where I'm supposed to be, just come say something and we'll switch stages and I can just go to that one after. I just get really confused. But I apologized, you know, and I was like, you know, I was also just doing what the bouncers were telling me, because they were telling, even later throughout the night, like, it was getting really confusing, because I think I tried to do it the other way, like where I went to the less busy one that she was on earlier in the night. I tried to go to that one second, like we would normally do, but then the bouncer specifically told me, like came over and said, no, go to the third one instead because there's people there, and then go to the other one. So I was just doing what they were telling us to do. But anyways, like at first she had said she was going to try to stay all night, and then after that happened, she like left early and she seemed kind of sad, and I felt really bad. But so I don't know if she's going to be able to like still do her video today, or I wanted to text her and apologize. I mean, I already did in person last night, but I wanted to like do it again, like through text message last night, but it was just really busy and like, I don't know. But anyway, so it was kind of like a sign though, because when I got to the club, there was like this cooking stuff. Oh, it's the same people that sent oranges recently. So there was a company, I guess, that like remodels bathrooms, and they sent us this nice big box of oranges a couple weeks ago with like calendars and tote bags, and the oranges were so good. They were like the best oranges I've ever had. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this company. They're called La Cava. Thank you, La Cava. We love you. So La Cava, shout out to them. Oh, I still have my calendar. La Cava. You guys probably can't see it. La Cava. What does this say? Where are we? Why is this on May and April? How does this work? So they had sent all this cooking stuff to the club, I guess for Christmas. And see, La Cava. Every single picture is a picture of sinks. So, it was like this nice, like Paris Hilton, cooking pot. It was shaped like a heart. It was actually almost this color. It's like a pink cooking pot shaped just like a heart, and then the handles are like on the sides of the heart. It's so cute. And I don't know, I don't really eat pasta that much, and even if I do, I don't like use like a big pot like that or like a colander. I just kind of like use a little pot and just strain it, and I don't know, I'm not very like fancy when I cook. I really don't cook. My microwave is my home box. It's not genderfied, but I love my microwave. That's how I prepare most of my food. Anyway, so I was like, Paris, it's a sign, because the brand was Paris Hilton and her name's Paris. So I was like, look, I'm pretty sure it's for free. Like, they just sent it. There was this nice little note that said like something from your team La Cava. And I was like, oh, I remember them. They sent the oranges. So I'm pretty sure it's just like up for grabs. There's nowhere to really cook pasta back in the kitchen at the club. Like, they have a coffee maker and they have a microwave and an air fryer, but they don't have like a stove to like prepare pasta. If they did, I'd be like, Paris, do your video right here, right now. But there's like nowhere to really like boil pasta unless you were to try to like do it on the coffee maker, which I don't think would work out very well. So, but they sent like this like pasta pot and colander and pasta and sauce and cheese, and I was like, Paris, you should just have this and like use it for your cooking stuff. But also there were all these presents, like boxes wrapped on the table next to that. That I usually sit on that table. That's like pretty much my spot back in the kitchen to just like chill out. There's a couch next to it, but I'm weird, so rather than sit on the couch, I'll just sit directly on the table in front of it. I've actually like slept on that table before, not like fully sleeping, but I've like laid down on it and just like rested because I'm weird. I don't normally like lay out on it, but I have before, and I'm sure I will again at certain points. But anyways, so there were all these like unwrapped presents on the table, So I went over there because I always go over to that area. And I'm, like they were like decorative for the front lobby area back for like Christmas time, like last week or whatever it was recently. So, like they will decorate really nice for the holidays. So in the lobby, they had like, a Christmas tree with a bunch of presents under it. So I'm pretty sure these presents are like just for show to like make it look nice in the lobby. But because it's no longer Christmas time, they moved them out back to that kitchen area with the table. And they were all piled on the table. So at first I was like, I wonder if these are real presents. Like I knew that they probably weren't and that they were probably just for show, but they looked really nice and like they were all wrapped. So, like I picked some of them up and just like to see like, are these just like light empty boxes? And yes, they were, of course. But so that was kind of sad because it looked so nice. And I was like, are these real presents? And they weren't. They were. I didn't go as far to unwrap them though, because I just thought like, how embarrassing would it be if I were to like start to unwrap one of these just to like see. And of course, like I unwrap it and it's this empty box. And now not only that, but I've like ruined their display box and they're gonna have to rewrap it. Like, Tinka, that's not a present for you, honey. Just, what are you doing? So that was kind of sad. So then I just moved all the boxes under the table. Why did they put them on top of the table? At least like move them out of the way because people use that table, not just me. So I moved them all off the table without unwrapping them. Because I shook them all to make sure like they weren't real presents. They were just empty boxes with wrapping paper on them. So I was really sad. But you know what's funny is shortly after that, like literally, I'm pretty sure it was minutes after that, that's when I checked my phone and got the text message from Taz that somebody had sent me a gift card. So I was like, oh, thank gosh, like that makes me feel a little better. Because I had just seen all these like fake presents and that weren't for me. And, didn't embarrass myself by actually unwrapping them just to make sure. So I was like kind of a little sad, a little bummed out. And then I got the text message from Taz, like, you have a gift card from this random person. And I was like, yay! So that made me feel better. So again, thank you to whoever sent her that. Hopefully it works. I'll try to update on that when I get around to it. Hopefully I can do that in the next couple days. I highly doubt I'm going to be working tomorrow. Probably not Saturday either. So it's been I don't know. I haven't been very good about going in on Sundays lately just because the way that things have worked out recently with that for some reason, for various reasons, I guess. But normally I try to work on Sundays, and my favorite manager that works on Sundays is leaving in April, but I think they're also gonna not be around very much in February because they're gonna be like traveling to go try to work some stuff out for their upcoming move. So I really wanna, I'm kind of torn because a part of me wants to just like get used to it now and just like kind of try to not avoid them, but just kind of like detach gradually from, you know what I mean? And just so it's not as it's not as sad for me when they are no longer there. But then the other part of me is like, well, I really like their shifts and I really like them and working with them. So I kind of want to also try to still do their shifts while they're still here and still try to enjoy that now while I still can. So I'm not really too sure. But I guess for the most part lately, besides my period, as always, I'm really just trying to like go with how the weather goes. So I'm not gonna like break my back and try to like work through a storm if I don't have to. But a lot of times I do also try to like to work through the storms if they're not like too super bad, because the club's pretty good about that, where they'll give us like incentives for us to work through snowstorms. Like they'll give us like credits on our account because we pay to work there. So a lot of times what they'll do for like the snowstorms is they'll waive the fee, or they'll add credits to our account for the future for when we come in. So I always like to try to take advantage of that. That's actually pretty much why I'm working tonight, because we're getting free rent and an incentive for credits if we stay the whole night tonight. So I always do that as a big thing from like a big motivation for me to go in. I'll just try to you know, find whatever little reasons I can find to get my ass in there when I'm able to do it. Because a lot of times I'm not able to do it, which, you know, I really try not to beat myself up about too much, but, you know, this weather and my period, they really kicked my ass a lot, pretty bad. But, well, I'm not in bed right now. I'm out and about right now. I worked pretty much 12 hours last night. Because yeah, even though one of those hours was me doing a video on my YouTube, and even though I enjoy that and enjoy this, like it's still kind of work for me, you know, like it's still me trying to be productive and trying to contribute to society. Sure, why not? Sure, I mean, it is for me. So yeah, 12-hour shift yesterday. I think it's gonna be 7 hours tonight if I stay till close, which I'll probably try to do. But it's about 6 o'clock right now, so I have about an hour to get over there. But I'm gonna wrap this up so I can try to get a few things here at Walmart, which shout out to Walmart. I know they get a bad rap for like weird random things, but I've always loved Walmart. And shout out to them for being open on holidays, because it really pisses me off when places close for holidays, because pretty much anytime that I am able to get my ass out of my apartment, I want to try to squeeze in some grocery shopping, like every time that I go out when I can, because it's really very difficult for me to get out of my apartment. Like, it's a whole ass process, and this weather obviously plays a huge part in that this time of year and most of the year, because it's this kind of weather most of the year here, really, more often than not. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into all the details now with why exactly it's such a process for me to get out the door. But why not? It's 57 minutes, so if I go for 3 more minutes, I can say that this video is an hour. So, I've mentioned this many times before, but I like to say things over and over again, because like, what if something happened to other videos, and then things that I've said before were no longer there, if those videos are no longer there, and I only have this one video to go on. I have to say everything I've ever said before all in one video. God, can you imagine? I hope that doesn't happen. But I just like to say things over and over again, because why not? So my process for me to get my ass out of my apartment, the heat's not on, so it's usually this time of year. The wind blows directly into the windows most of the time. I've tried to remedy that. Haven't really been able to succeed so far, but it's still a work in progress, I like to tell myself. I always try to come up with new ideas or whatever. The heat's not on. It's usually about 50 degrees, 51, 52, maybe 55 on a good day. If I've been cooking a lot or whatever. Not cooking, just running the stove. Boiling water. So I've had stuff go missing from my apartment before, as well as my car, and as well as my locker at the club, yada yada. I say that a lot because it's happened a few times. So what I do for quite a while now, I forget when exactly I first started to do this, but it's been a while. I know that I was definitely doing it last winter as well. Probably at least a couple, maybe a few years now. I shut my fridge off. I put my most valuable possessions in the fridge that shut off, lock it up with like a extension cord wrapped around it and clipped, so it's like kind of a MacGyver kind of situation. But in there, I put my clothes, my indoor clothes. So basically and then I also have boxes, heavy boxes piled to the ceiling in front of my door to kind of like barricade it, so that I can try to sleep a little easier, or actually try to sleep somewhat. So, because I don't feel safe in there if people have been in there when I'm not there and stuff. So hopefully not when I am there. So, oh my God. So for me to get out the door, I strip naked in a freezing cold apartment that's like pretty much 50 degrees, between 50 and 55, let's say. Cold linoleum floor in front of the fridge. I'm taking off my indoor clothes, putting them in the fridge, locking that up, stark ass naked, standing there like this is a process. I have OCD, so I have to make sure to have all my indoor stuff locked in the fridge while I'm standing there stark naked, freezing cold. I'm bald, so I have nothing on my head. Standing there freezing. I have to make sure all the fridge is locked up before I can touch. So all my indoor stuff is no longer being touched. It's all locked up before I go to my outdoor stuff, which is all dirty and gross to me. So, and just yes. So just yeah. So then once I've moved on from all of that indoor stuff being like safe and locked up, I can move on to my outdoor stuff. So I'm freezing naked, very cold. That's when I can finally start to reclothe myself with garments and not be standing there freezing cold, stark ass naked in the middle of the kitchen. So then I put on my outdoor clothes, my dirty, disgusting outdoor clothes. And my OCD just, yeah, doesn't like that stuff. But in order for me to go outdoors, I had to put on my outdoor clothes. So I do that. Then I have all these boxes piled up to the ceiling, pretty much, that are heavy and that I have to move out from in front of the door. They're all like wedged there like a puzzle. So then I move on to that, which takes me obviously a few minutes. And, you know, this time of year with winter, it's quite a few garments that I'm layering and trying to put on and wear to go out. So it takes me a little while. It's a process. But honestly, for me, the worst part of it is just how much it takes for me mentally and physically to take off the indoor clothes and be naked in the freezing cold kitchen in those moments before I've reclothed myself with the outdoor clothes, because it's just so cold. And very pathetic and very ridiculous. Because I touch all my groceries with my outdoor hands and my outdoor clothes, and then I put them in my apartment when I get back after, like, if I've gone grocery shopping, which I usually try to do when I go out. So then I have my outdoor stuff that's all been touched with my outdoor hands, my outdoor clothes in my apartment, and I put them like off to the side, and then I shower and wash, and then I can unlock my fridge and have my indoor things. My OCD is all like, okay, my indoor stuff now. But then I just go and touch the outdoor stuff that I was having outdoor hands on earlier. So it's only been not very long. Have the germs dissipated from my outdoor stuff so I can touch them now that I'm indoors wearing my indoor stuff. It's a very weird mentality, and OCD sucks ass. So my OCD, it's not the kind where I'm like having to like tap things a certain number of times and like flick light switches on and off a certain number of times. Like, I've heard about that kind of thing, but for me it's not like that. It's more of like indoor stuff and outdoor stuff, and I can only touch these certain things at certain times. Like if I touch my phone, my phone is always outdoors with me usually. So I never touch my phone when I'm in my apartment, and if I do, it feels so gross to me. I have to go like wash my hands after I touch my phone. Like when I get off my phone, okay, it's like I put it away in my bag, have to go wash my hands before I can touch my indoor stuff. It's very, very, very bizarre. The mentality behind it is so ridiculous, as you guys can probably tell. But it's like, what is wrong with me? So many things. Yes, I probably need a therapist. No, I'm not going to spend the money on it. So there's another predicament of mine. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some outdoor groceries with my outdoor hands now. So later on I can try to bring them indoors and then wash my indoor hands and then try to convert them into indoor objects. What is wrong with me? Okay, so I hope you guys are well. Happy New Year. This 2026 should definitely be interesting. I know that 2025 was definitely very interesting for me, so I'm sure this year probably will be too. Can only imagine what this year will bring. Anyway, thank you again very much to whoever sent a gift card to Taz and I, and Happy New Year, and hopefully I'll be able to come on pretty soon. I'm really gonna try to do a Sunday shift next week. because I haven't for the past couple weeks, and I do really usually tend to like Sundays at the club. Sunday fun day, as I say. All right, well, peace out for now, guys. Happy 2026. Let's try to make it a good one.